Good morning. My name is Angelina Carlton. I'm the founder of Legacy Planning, a boutique coaching and advisory firm based in Beverly Hills. This morning, I have the pleasure of introducing Kawsar. She is the director and a certified practitioner at Life Choices Reprogramming and Management. She is also a registered member of the International Council of Psychotherapists. She studied at the London School of International Business and earned her diploma in health and social care management. Kawsar also holds a bachelor in psychology from the University of South Africa. Without further ado, welcome, Kawsar.
Thank you, Angelina. It's really very nice to be with you today. I thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to have a great session with you today.
Yes, I look forward to it as well. I think that you can bring a valuable skill of RTT, which you'll explain in a moment to the listeners and to the viewers, that I think is an exceptional tool to bring to the marketplace today as people are beyond stressed out given the pandemic and recent world events. I think people need some tools to help them today. So I thought maybe we would start with understanding what RTT is.
Yes, definitely. RTT is one, I would say, of the most interesting combinations that we are having nowadays. It's a combination of the most beneficial principles: cognitive behavioral therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, psychotherapy, and hypnotherapy. It is a mix of therapies proven to be effective, comfortable for many of my clients and for thousands of RTT users.
Yes, good. And I realize that's the technical definition. And you also had an opportunity to work with and study under Marissa Peer, who is very well known on the internet. So what does RTT mean to you in your heart, in simpler terms, compared to the textbook definition?
In simpler terms, I would say RTT is a very in-depth tool that can help people go deep inside their mind to that subconscious level and find out, discover what was not known to them, and use whatever they discover, whatever is new that they get from their subconscious mind, and apply that in their life to make better choices.
Good. Yes, that's wonderful. And I think that that is needed today. And so as you are a bit across the pond in you're east of Madagascar, is that correct?
Yes, it's
Yes.
It's an island in the Indian Ocean.
Yes.
You must have heard about it.
Yes. And so when we're talking about problems in the world today, here I am in the west coast of North America. So what have you seen in the landscape? And then we'll dive deeper into some stories of clients that you've worked with and other good success stories to share. But for the moment, what are you seeing in the landscape where you're at?
Well, for the moment in the landscape, we are all in the face of coronavirus. We are rethinking social change. By social change, I mean changes in human interactions and relationships that transform cultural and social institutions. Today, it is fair to say that the various changes we are currently seeing in the world are impacting us all. Even the spontaneous among us with typically the biggest smiles, are having difficulty with those major life challenges. So I think it's hard for everyone. And, people are feeling anxious, uneasy, or up in the air lately. And, the brain tends to deal with all types of major changes in the same way. So, there's a lot of work to be done out there.
Well, absolutely. So when you spoke a moment ago about how the brain deals with changes the same way, so it doesn't matter if I'm in one time zone or if you're in another, if stress is stress and fear is fear, I think it causes the mind to kind of shrink back or regress compared to want to be filled with imagination. And we're going to talk about legacy in a moment, but this idea of a legacy isn't necessarily a conversation around survival. If somebody's in survival mode, a legacy is going to be the last thing that they're going to think about. So Oh, what are your thoughts? What's that look on your face? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, when there's something new, people first survive and then they adapt. So there is a process. And to really have the best outcomes, I think then there is a real need for us coaches to accompany, to guide those people towards even better futures, to have those results, those desired results, those desired outcomes for the society, not just individuals, but the society, the community, and the world.
Absolutely. So they don't get left behind. So they don't get.
We don't want anyone to get left behind or, not in that process of changing that we are undergoing right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've had the pleasure of working with clients that are both French speaking as well as English speaking. And
Yes.
so I do find it fascinating that, again, one of the things that coaches can tap into is the understanding of human nature, that it is not, again, just locked into one country or one time zone or one geography, that, people are people. And so, one of the things, if we circle back to RTT, is that it gets to the root of the problem compared to just the problem itself. So can you
Yes.
give me an example of maybe when you were working with a client and they presented you with what I might call the problem for the coaching session, and how you kind of discovered the root underneath of that problem?
Yeah. I mean, when the client is here with me, I spent a lot of time to elaborate and discover what is it that is blocking them. I mean, when the client enters the consultation, he or she has decided, I want to deal with that issue. I'm procrastinating. I have this anxiety, this stress, this anger issue, etc. They already have in mind what they want to discuss. But trust me, after an hour or so of talking about their lives, their experiences, most of the time they find out that what they thought was a priority to be dealt with is not the case. So after we have discussed, we have sorted things out, the various issues, we very often end up with new priorities, new things they want to deal with. I mean, I've had clients who wanted to quit smoking, but after 1 hour or 2 hours of talking, it was a toxic relationship that we had to handle first.
Yeah,
So this is the magic. I mean, this is what
absolutely. Yeah.
most of the
Yeah, I think that when a issue starts to become what I might call excavated, and you start to dig and peel the onion metaphorically, there's a lot underneath the surface that people are carrying around that they don't know how to unpack by themselves, or that they don't want to unpack alone. And they reach out to coaches and psychotherapists and people in this profession that can understand and who are trained. And so again, this is why I wanted to bring somebody who's a specialist in RTT to this platform to talk about this as a very valuable tool, because it's accessible, again, not just in one country or one time zone, but it's accessible to anyone in any income bracket or any society, any language, and so forth.
Yes, and the good thing is that you can, it doesn't matter where you are, you can have it on Zoom, so you don't have to spend on transport, you don't have to be in a room where you don't feel at ease. So you can be there at home and your therapist is at the other side of the planet, and which works, equally
As effective.
well.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yeah.
very effective.
Good. So what would be one piece of self-knowledge a client has gained in one of your RTT sessions?
Well, let me tell you what I always tell my clients first. I always tell them that to realize when they have come on this planet, like they were all like white pages, and then they start learning. They start
like a blank
learning.
slate, like a blank canvas. Okay.
Exactly. So my job is to accompany people to reprogram their life choices, because they have been making choices since their very early ages based on the people around them, their teachers, their friends, their caregivers. So they've had been making choices not necessarily in their best interest. So I am here to make them realize that they can reprogram their life choices again. They can choose again. They can choose to grow. They can develop management techniques that will, lead them to their most fulfilling selves.
Yeah, the
To
most
let go.
fulfilling lives. Yes, yes. I think one
To
of the
let-
things,
Sorry.
yeah, I think what one of the things you're pointing out there is they can reprogram their beliefs, that their beliefs aren't, in concrete. So when you talk about the white pages or that blank canvas, it is, let's get out the eraser and let's decide which beliefs will work for you the best now. Like perhaps when you were 4 or 8 years old, your reasoning worked one way and those beliefs became ingrained, but now you're 20, 30, 40, 50, and you can choose, do those beliefs still work? Would you still reason like that now, knowing what you know now?
Uh, I reason like that. I believe that anything can be done through RTT. I'm really convinced. I've seen so many huge changes in people. I mean, the first time they come to see me and the second time they come to see me, there are huge, really huge transformations. So definitely I encourage so many people to try RTT, and I can, definitely say that the changes are extremely positive. They are achievable in a very short period of time.
Yeah, and I think also to add to what you're sharing right now, I think that it is one of those if I refer to awareness for a moment, I think somebody's awareness increases. Were those the opinions of other people, or were they my opinions? Were those the beliefs of other people, or were those my beliefs? And I think when they get to start to like sort them out, so like here's a metaphor, for example, like a child has toys. Are they my siblings' toys, or are they my toys? But sometimes when we don't make the effort, we just lump all the toys in one pile and we think all of it is ours, and it might not be. And I think when we start to get to simplify and streamline and clean that up, the freedom that it brings is exponential.
Yes, but it is also very important to note, Angelina, that it is very difficult to do that on a conscious level. But
Yes.
through RTT, we use hypnosis to access that subconscious level, which is 100 times smarter than our conscious mind. So with our techniques, with RTT, we easily access that part of the mind which is responsible for reconstruction of beliefs, those feelings, those tiny details that clients might not even be aware of. You get that, you access that in that subconscious mind. And that's amazing.
And
That's
I
the
think,
magic of
yeah, that
RTT.
is magical. And I think a lot of people don't know how influential the subconscious mind is.
Yes. Definitely. When I have to explain, the subconscious mind, it's that very thin layer of
Okay.
the mind, while the subconscious mind is that huge part underneath. And we go with it in an RTT session, we go with a torch and we find out, those things that the client was unaware of.
Good, good. I love that metaphor. It's like the ocean underneath. Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah. And I think
exactly. The tip of the iceberg and the iceberg.
good,
Yes.
good. Yes, yes. And I think that there is an aspect of detective work that comes with really good coaches and psychotherapists and hypnotists and all these people in this world of, you called it magic. And I will add to that, I might call it the invisible magic. We can't see the wind, but we can see the effects of the wind.
Well, yes, I must say, as an RTT therapist, I'm really blessed because I have been trained and I can use various tools, to help those clients because I know where, I know how, and I know why it first started. For example, when you're working on trauma or painful incident, I have several tools that I use to carefully untangle it, to revisit scenes, and it's possible to relieve blocked emotions. So we work together, my clients and myself, on the meaning and beliefs that were created, that the mind created during or after the incidents.
Okay.
And I use powerful suggestions to make sure that those incidents are reframed and let go.
Yeah. So the patterns are broken.
Yes, so the detective work, being able to localize, to identify, to guide the client there and to empower them. I believe that RTT is empowering the person, the client, to see clearly and to know what is happening in his mind, to let go, to reframe, to reconstruct, and to be different, to transform.
Yes, and it is very much a cause and effect process. And when they can when a client can understand the causes of why their behavior is the way that it is, why they're making the choices that they are, or what are the foundational beliefs? Like, for example, if I say I'm not good enough, then that becomes the driving motivator. Can you give an example of one common belief? Like I'm not lovable, I'm not something, and that can.
Yes. Okay. For example, there are many people who think that they don't deserve love. They don't deserve. That's a belief, and they don't attract the right partners. They end up with narcissists. They end up with toxic people.
Relationships.
It's a pattern. You can see that.
Yeah.
Why is it that I'm always attracting the same type of partner? Why is it that I always end up in the wrong job? Why is it that I always doing that? Why is this pattern? So, those beliefs, and then those beliefs turn into action and what you attract. So I have to go back and make them realize what was pinning them, unblock those beliefs, reconstruct, help them, guide them towards other patterns.
Good. Yes. Yes. And it is very much detective work of uncovering, because I think a lot of the times we're so busy living our lives that we don't slow down and stop to do the work until the pain becomes too much, or
Yes.
we're in a position where we have to perform, whether it's for a job or it's for a family business or it's for some type of role that in order to become extra good, we have to, what I might call like cut those strings of like the speedboat that's holding the speedboat back in order to grow and raise our vibration to evolve to the next level.
Yes, definitely. It's not easy. People, when they want change, they want to transform, they know they want to be there, but they don't know how to get there. It is very energy consuming as well. It can be overwhelming, the change, the process, but I'm always there to accompany them. I accompany them every day. I send them messages, I send them emails, I call them to make sure that the transition is going on, to make sure that they feel they are supported throughout the process. They come here for a first 2-hour session where we talk a lot, we sort out the various events. Then sometimes it's so complex that I ask them to have another session of talking again, where we unpack. So it's a lot of unpacking, it's a lot of purging that has to be done. And when I see that they have the right habits, I see that they are ready for hypno, then we go for that RTT therapy session, which is another 2 hours. And after that, I give them a recording with strong, powerful, positive words.
And words are powerful.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, words can bless somebody and words can curse somebody.
Yes, so that's why we have to choose, the better we think here, the better we will say, and the better we choose our words, it's going to have the impact, the desired impacts on our lives. So yeah, it starts in the brain, it starts in our thoughts. So better choose what we are thinking. I encourage my clients, I guide them to adopt a new way of thinking and to be able to choose and say no to negativity, to say no to things that will not help them build the lives they want to.
Yes, because I think one of the awarenesses that can also come from this is when somebody realizes that even the words alone that they are speaking can bless themselves, and they can also self-curse themselves without even realizing it, because
yes, without realizing.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I think humans can be very hardwired to want the familiar. But what if the unfamiliar is compliments and praise and love? At that point, you have to, like you talked about, change that wiring in a sense to say, don't go back to what's toxic, or don't go back to what's insane in the definition of insanity.
Yes, when I work with my clients, I guide them, encourage them to do what they don't like to do first, to
Yes.
make unfamiliar familiar and the familiar unfamiliar.
Yeah, you get them to do the hard stuff first, to knock out the hardest, challenges, activities, homework assignments.
Yes, I try to, because many of them, they don't have a structured life at all. When they walk in, and when I see them for the first time, when we start talking, they are usually people who don't give time to themselves, their self-care, their food, their exercise. There's no time for them. They are so busy with the outside world. They are so busy with the business. They are so busy with kids. They are so busy with other issues that they don't have 30 minutes for themselves to question whether they are choosing to have that food, whether they are choosing to have this and this habit. So yeah, I take a lot of time to make them realize that they do have to create this structured life where they are in equilibrium, I would say, with their inner self, to look inside of themselves, to question, to appraise, to see what's good for them and what's not good, what has to be out
They have
of
to
their
let go
life.
of. Yeah, I love it. I think that you're asking them to proactively and consciously structure their life so they're not just being a sailboat in the wind, apathetic. Yeah, one of the things that I say in my coaching practice is what apathy is doing to your legacy is just not right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe that successful people do what they don't want to do first. So I guide my clients to choose to tackle what they find hard to handle first. At work, for example, if they have to make a difficult call, I advise them that they do that call first.
Yeah.
If they need to run or exercise, go to the gym, then do it first. Doing the things they don't want to do first makes them feel like a winner. Like first thing in the morning, they get up at 4 or 5, they run 10 kilometers. So they have this sense of achievement and feel free and lighter to carry on with their day later on. And secondly, I recommend that they take frequent and regular actions in the direction of their goals.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think one of the things you're speaking to is integrity, because when they don't do the hard things first, there's almost like an invisible sense of self-betrayal. But when they do the hard things first, it's almost like like, they're powerful, like they ate their spinach, if they're,
Are
that's,
winners. Yeah, winners. They're
yes, they're
motivated.
winners. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
they would, in their mind, they're saying, oh, I couldn't do it. And then they do it. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, they impress themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's amazing how people say, oh my God, I'm not motivated. Well, motivation will not knock at your door, motivation comes through action.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So the more action you take, the more you will feel motivated toward that thing which you want to do,
Yeah. And,
If you want, yes.
I was just going to say that, and the motivation starts to become momentum, like a
Yeah.
positive tsunami.
And the more you see that, well, wow, I'm doing this exercise now. I wasn't able to do that. Wow, now I wake up at 4, I run 10 kilometers. And after that, I have my smoothie. And then, wow, I watch the news. I have time to watch the news. I didn't have time to watch the news. Then I can do things. I'm reading a book. I'm reading 10 pages before breakfast, and I have time to prepare my breakfast. Wow, that's amazing. I wasn't able to do that a month ago.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. So this is motivation towards a healthy life.
And I think it also, if we talk about positive and negative mirroring for a moment, I think that it surprises them in a good way, because they start to see themselves better.
Definitely. Yeah, you can see that, they grow. The more they do things that suits them, the more they do things that makes them healthier, they grow. They grow, and they impact on their surroundings. They smile more, they laugh, they enjoy, they are happy. You can see that.
I'm sorry, go ahead one more time, please.
Sorry, you can see what they are attracting, they are happier, and they also impact on the people around them, a happy dad, a happy mom in the morning, I'm sure will definitely have a happier family and happy colleagues.
Yes. Yes, and that family then influences the community, which then influences the world, and the ripple effect. And I think one of the reasons why I think coaching is so important, and this is one of the reasons why I'm having this series, is because I think that when people become adults, that accountability, or what you call the structure, oftentimes can disappear. Are their parents going to still be doing, the structuring for their lifestyle? Are their parents still going to be lecturing them to tell them to whatever it is? Maybe when they were growing up, they had a very strong framework around them, or, in combination with a school system, whether it's public or private school. And then all of a sudden, they're adults and they have to take personal agency. But if they don't, obviously they can easily slide backwards or start to become mediocre, when there's huge potential in all of us. So I think coaches bring this, also this influence and tool of accountability, that where we challenge clients to step it up, and we challenge them to not go backwards and to keep buying into the BS.
Yeah, with the wonderful tools that we have today, we have coaches, brilliant coaches. I mean, people can't complain that they are lacking guidance. There's so much they can do, so much they can achieve in every field now, and that's available. That's amazing. And people now are more and more aware of the importance of coaches and the value that coaching can bring, not only to themselves, to their families, to their work, to wellness, to happiness. So much can be done. And yeah, that's amazing.
And to their legacy. So before I go on to the next question, I want to circle back, because some of the statistics that we see out in the world today are shocking, and it doesn't, again, affect just some of us. It affects all of us, because none of us live in a bubble. Even if we might be affluent, or we might think that we live in a bubble, it's still very much an interconnected world. So some of the statistics that I have come across include that about 150 million people worldwide will go into poverty given the recent pandemic effects. Second, in the United States, 1 out of 4 think about suicide, especially young adults these days. The third, antidepressant medication in the United States has increased by 600%. And we won't even get into military suicides that have increased 30% since 2019. From a commerce standpoint, if we talk about family businesses around the world, in the United States alone, 60% of restaurants will never reopen. And many of those restaurants have been family-owned businesses, family-owned enterprises. And so, I think, again, I just want to take a pause to emphasize that RTT is something that is available to people. And just as we find ourselves blessed with the conveniences of technology, I still think that we need to be proactive in doing the work to find out what resources are out there, not just rely on the convenience of, how easy the apps or the iPhone or the MacBook makes life for us, but we still have to, do the proverbial sit-ups and push-ups to make sure that we are evolving and transforming, especially when tragedy could arrive at our door.
Yes, we should not wait that tragedy knocks our door, first. We should be able to question. We should be able to look inside of us, question, and help others, once we are there, once we have achieved that level that's convenient, that's good for us, then choose to help people around us. Definitely, this should be our goal, our purpose in life.
Absolutely. And I think as we get stronger, we can be guides for other people. We can be leaders for them. As we evolve and we let go of our issues, we can also show the way for other people. Absolutely. So let me loop back to RTT for a moment. So one of the great things about this tool is that it also allows individuals, clients, to reframe experiences. So sometimes the interpretation of an experience alone can bring meaning to us. So can you give an example of how someone might interpret or give meaning to an experience, but then how they can reframe it when they're at choice compared to in the moment, years ago?
Yeah, well, let me share a story of a client with you. She's someone in her mid-40s. She has a successful business, but then she has this guilt feeling about what she's achieving. She's procrastinating. She wakes up late. She doesn't want to go to work. She has even insomnia. And when she came to me, she was this broken lady. She was questioning herself because, she had everything to make her happy. She had family, she had kids, she had business there. And yet there was that emptiness. She was feeling guilty. She didn't know what was there pinning her and having those impacts in her life. So once we did our once we did our RTT, she found that she was carrying a guilt feeling, and that feeling was created when she was 12.
Okay.
So she was 12, she created that guilt feeling that while she was doing well at school, while she was in an elite school, she had a sister, much younger, but who was average. And she had kept on building that guilt feeling about her success, about her potential, which later manifested as procrastination and insomnia and having huge impacts on her daily life. So you see that, I mean, where do those blocks come from? We can only know that when we access our subconscious mind. And through RTT, we can do that easily, safely.
Yes,
so,
it's interesting because it's almost like survivor's remorse. The lady had this, it's like instead of being the taller blade of grass, she was self-sabotaging because, almost, in order to make somebody else feel good. It's slightly codependent, but many people aren't aware of, why they're making the choices that they're making.
Yeah, yes. Because at that, when she's 42, she's no longer guilty when she finds the sister. They share a good time.
Yeah.
But still, that feeling that was built when she was 12. And
Yeah.
how it manifested, it grew, and it took a huge space in her life, in her mind.
Right, right. Yeah, and what we don't examine and clean up at some point will be, instead of the stream, it will be the waterfall.
Yeah, and I must say that, each client, they may come sometimes they come with for example, if they come for procrastination, but when we regress, when we go to those scenes, those moments, they can be very different from one client to another. They may not have the same root causes. It varies a lot.
Yes. And here I just want to make a plug for coaching, in that it is unique to every client and to their experiences. It is customized in that sense, that even though there is a framework that is available, like RTT or any of the other models that are out there, even the coactive methodology, whatever that system somebody can rely on, it always gets customized to that client's life and to what they are facing. So it's not as if
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not copy paste. It's
Yes,
not copy
thank you.
paste.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it
It's
does take effort on the part of the coach, the advisor, the hypnotherapist, to understand what exactly, if they have like a laser beam, where exactly do they hone in on, because you don't want to just throw paint against a wall. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I take a lot of time. That's why I do perhaps 4 hours of talking of cognitive before we go to that RTT, because I make sure that I have covered every aspect, that the client is open and trusting me a lot, because, to go to that level in your subconscious mind and to find things, you must be at ease with me, you must trust me, and you
Right.
must really open. So I spend a lot of time with my clients to get to know them, to build that trust, and to make sure that they open up as much as possible.
And to be receptive to your ideas, to how you're going to
Sure.
lead and guide them. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them are very receptive. I've not had anyone who's been complaining, etc., because we work as a team, then we have common goals, and they know that they can rely on me for sure.
Good, good. And so one more thing about the subconscious mind is, not only is it incredibly powerful, but it also is highly influenced by images and pictures.
Yes, yes. You master your mind, because your mind does what you tell it to do first. It's very important to know that, what it thinks you want it to do. Your mind responds only, and I say only, to the pictures you make in your head and the
Yeah.
words you say to yourself. So it's very important to know that. I'm going to repeat it. Your mind responds only to the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. So the way you feel about any situation are because of only two things: the pictures you make in your head, the words you say to yourself. So how you feel about any situation is because of the words and images you are making. We can change our words and images anytime, and our mind responds to words that are descriptive. So instead of saying, "This is a challenge," you change the words and say, "I want this to happen, and I believe I can make it."
Yes, this is a wonderful opportunity. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
because you choose the words, your words become your reality, and your brain uses the words you speak to identify what you are feeling.
Yeah.
Your brain takes every word you say as literal and accurate. So
Yes.
better be aware of that. The more you choose positive words, the resulting feelings become then positive.
Yes. Yes.
It's a simple equation.
It's very simple. And also words are free. People start to think that words are expensive.
Yes, fortunately. Yeah, so your mind basically it's wired to seek out and return to what is familiar, like we said earlier. So to succeed, you have to make familiar, unfamiliar, and unfamiliar familiar.
Yes, yes.
I insist that people start praising themselves. They have to learn to praise themselves, to keep pushing themselves further, to believe in themselves. I mean, criticism, negative language is to be banned at all cost.
Yes. And it's interesting because I think sometimes humanity gets beat down and then people learn that it's like they almost get energetically infected. And then those tapes start running in their mind. And I mean, yeah, humanity, I feel like has been beat down for eons and centuries, but it is an act of proactive consciousness to want to develop one's inner landscape to become such a strong muscle and skill set of tools and so forth, that no matter what's happening in the outer landscape, their inner landscape becomes stronger, more equipped, more enabled, more empowered. Yes. So I'm going to ask you a personal question, Kawsar. Yes, which is what pictures are up in your home office when we talk about the power of images, and or what are your 3 favorite words?
The pictures and images that I have are waterfalls, oceans,
Okay.
trees with roots,
Okay.
huge trees with beautiful leaves, branches, flowers that reminds me of their fragrance, their beauty, gardens. And yeah, this is what is in my home office. Waterfall, because I believe, that water can purify your body, your mind. And yeah, I love waterfalls. I love the ocean for its depth. It's so deep. It hides so many treasures, so many things I'm sure that are still to be discovered. So yeah, these are the pictures that I surround myself with.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah. And trees
yeah,
are growth and they're life and they're green. And yes, yes, no death there.
shade, you have protection, you have oxygen, you
Mm,
breathe. Yes,
lovely. And if you had 3 favorite words, what might they be?
I am enough.
Oh.
So I think this is the foundation and the simplest way to start, having a fulfilling life, to believe that, you are enough. You have everything you can, you deserve, and there's no door, you can. Yeah. So I
Good.
am enough.
Lovely. Powerful. Okay. And as this is a legacy series platform, I would love to hear what you would like your personal legacy to be, because again, I don't think that legacies are just meant for one type of person or one time zone or one age bracket. So,
Yeah, I want the people to say that they are living a life where they had the chance to choose. They've made the right choices, a life that they didn't just inherit, a life that wasn't just forced, or that they had no option but to live it. So I want to be surrounded by people any age who are there and telling me, I'm having this great life and I'm choosing everything I'm doing in my life and I'm having this really fulfilling life. And I'm so happy, and I transmit that energy to everybody around me. This happiness, this positivity, this success. Yeah, so
oh,
this is what I want to be surrounded by.
yeah. And I think also to be a bright light to anybody that you cross paths with, whether that's in your professional life or your personal life, to be that bright light of hope, to remind them that there are answers, there are tools, and there is a way, and just to raise that, again, I might call it the vibration of a frequency of love and, like you had said, purification and so forth.
Yes, happiness is love, and trust, believe, and there's always better ahead, best, the best self. It's the basis of everything.
Say that last part again one more time, please.
Start by loving yourself. It's the basis of everything. It's the foundation of success.
Good.
Self-love.
Lovely. Okay. And on that note, is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap?
Oh, yeah. I mean, can I thank some people?
Sure.
Would that be okay?
Sure. Yeah. Why not? Nothing like gratitude to
Yeah, exactly.
to tie up a session.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've been, I've had an incredible journey so far, and I'm very grateful. I've had the best coaches, people around me with so much love, and I've been accompanied, and that's really great. And I don't know if I can say the names, but they know who they are.
Yeah,
And
they've guided your path.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be looking at this interview. And I thank you a lot, Angelina. It's been great talking to you today.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you for making the time in coordinating schedules. I'm thrilled and very excited to connect with someone in your part of the world. Again, I'm so impressed that you've conducted this whole interview in English. I wish that I could have conducted this whole interview in French. Je m'appelle Angèle, right? J'ai conduit comme une foule. Je vais avoir une contravention.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, j'habite aux États-Unis. So I appreciate that you held this conversation about legacy in sharing the tool of RTT in English. And I, again, very much appreciate your time and your hospitality. And I hope that to any of the viewers or listeners out there, that they will gain valuable insights, as well as, again, another proactive tool that no matter where they're at, that they can have those resources at their fingertips, in addition to all of the conveniences that technology can bring. So on that note, we hope that you will like and subscribe and share with your friends and family. And until next time, we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much, Kawsar, and thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Angelina. Take care.
Okay.